These are the most powerful, deep 20 lessons that I have ever came across. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So today's video is going to be 20 lessons that the law of attraction has taught me, kind of like the lessons that I feel are the most valuable within my spiritual journey that I've kind of accumulated into a giant list. I was outside eating my breakfast one morning and I wanted to make a list for myself of the top lessons that I feel that I learned spiritually that have changed my life. And I ended up making a list of 20 different reasons, and they have a ton of different quotes attached to them, so prepare yourself for lots and lots of quotes in this video. But I just thought it would be a really fun idea to share with you guys. If you guys can change your life in a way that these lessons have changed my life, it'll be totally worth it. If you guys have any lessons that you feel is worthy of sharing, definitely pop them in the comments down below so I can add to my list. Maybe in a year or so I can do like an updated lesson and see like how my spirituality has grown and what I've learned and all of that. I just really think it's interesting to learn different lessons in life, and I feel like when I learned these specific lessons, it literally shifted my whole entire life and my mindset. So I just thought it would be really fun to share with you guys. So I wrote them all on my phone, and let's just go ahead and get started because I feel like this video is going to be kind of long. So the first and foremost is thoughts become things. That's pretty simple when it comes to the law of attraction, but again, it shifted my whole entire life. What you think, you become. What you think, you attract. Everything kind of stems from your thoughts. There is so much power in your thoughts. So the quote that I wrote down for this one is actually by Gandhi, and he says, "Our thoughts become our words become our beliefs become our actions become our habits, and our habits become our realities." Kind of showing you how your thoughts can shift over into creating your reality, which is a really great quote just to kind of see the root of what a thought can just turn into. So the second thing that I learned is all about perspective and perspective in general and the power of perspective. Eckhart Tolle's quote, "You are always meeting yourself." Like whatever you see in the world is kind of like a mirror of what you're thinking. Like if we were both looking at the same thing, what I would perceive from that situation or that experience would be completely different for somebody else experiencing it, just because of our past, the way we were raised, our culture, our society. It just all is about perspective, and everyone's perspective is so uniquely different. Another quote that I wrote down is from Sean Aker. "It's not necessarily the reality that shapes us, but the lens through which your brain views the world that shapes your reality." Again, it's just the way you look at it that you create your reality. Like everything is just, it just is, and the way you perceive it is what you're gonna get from it, if that makes any sense at all. I hope this makes sense. Another quote when it comes to this is, "You are what you see, your perspective of yourself, life, and others." And then another quote is, "Reality is not what your eyes show your mind, but what your mind creates for your eyes to see." And that's from Mike Dooley. And then the third one is alignment. And when it comes to alignment, I did a video about this literally this Wednesday. And the 3 things you want to do in order to accomplish alignment is acting, saying, and thinking thoughts that all align with what you want. And when those 3 things are aligned, that's when you will be able to attract like things, and you'll be in vibrational energy with what you're trying to manifest. So the fourth one is, everything is temporary. The only constant in life is change. People, things, and thoughts. This is something that I've recently come across, and I am glad I did, just because now I know to appreciate the good, but also not dwell on the negative, because everything in life is temporary. And like I said, that comes with people, things, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and it's just the flow of life. And they all happen for a reason, you know? So the fifth one is, don't take anything personally. This is actually something I learned in the 4 Agreements, which is a book. I'll leave it linked down below if you guys want to check it out. It's really good. What people say is a reflection of their internal world, not yours. Basically meaning if somebody hurts you or you feel kind of personally affected by someone else's actions, words, or anything, it has nothing to do with you. It's just the way that they're kind of reflecting what they're feeling inside onto you. And when you take things personally, it just messes with your mind and your relationships. A quote that I have here is from Matt con. Despite how open, peaceful, and loving you attempt to be, people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. Dr. Wayne Dyer said, how others treat me is their path, how I react is mine. Again, just not taking anything too personally, which has definitely like helped a lot in life. And the sixth thing I have is ego and detachment. So basically what the ego is and how it kind of feeds off negative energy and negative thoughts, and it kind of likes that in a way. The more you feed it, the more it will reflect, and that's not your true identity. Your true identity is your spiritual awareness and like your consciousness, and the ego is what your life kind of created for you, and it's a negative thing. So detaching from your ego is something that I have recently understood, and it's kind of like detaching from your physical self, if that makes sense. Be more conscious, which is like the thoughts behind your thoughts. Eckhart Tolle definitely helped me realize that one. So the seventh one is things happen for us, not against us. Everything that happens in life is guiding you to what you want in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, and to appreciate everything for what it is, because it's teaching you something in the long run. For some reason you need it in that point of view, and you've attracted it in your life for a reason. So everything that happens for you is never against you, it's for you. We might just not know what it is until later on. The eighth thing I have is that we are not our feelings, our thoughts, our emotions. I feel like depression and anxiety is really big right now in today's age, and I definitely have experienced all three of those, and I think that's because we attach to our feelings and our thoughts and our emotions, and we think we are them, but we are experiencing them in the moment. We are not our thoughts, we are not our feelings, we are not our emotions, but we simply have them. So I wrote, next time you get angry, pay attention to how you feel and analyze that. Apparently it only takes 90 seconds to feel the anger, and then it flushes out of you. Normally we rethink the same thought that's stimulating the anger, creating that anger to stay with us for a while. So detaching from them and letting them flow through you, like kind of like a cloud. Like watch the feelings go in you and then out. Release and let go of the feelings. When you hold on to them, that's when you're feeding the ego, and that's when things will just start downfalling. So the ninth thing that I have is not to focus on the how. When you want to manifest something, instead of micromanaging and telling the universe you have to do this in order to attract that, you're never going to get it because you're micromanaging it and you're only focusing on one minuscule detail, and you think that's going to bring you what you want. But how do you know that's going to bring you what you want? You have no idea. So instead of focusing on the how, take action towards the life that you want without attaching to something that you've kind of created, like a detailed how. It's kind of like the 1% rule. The first action that you take, it becomes easier and easier. Once something is in movement, it will stay in movement, and it's just the flow. Once you take action, you will get opportunities, you'll be able to believe it more, and it's just better than focusing on how I'm going to do it. Instead of just like going crazy in your mind trying to figure out the situation, just flow with it, just do it. So the 10th thing is there's no such thing as time. There's only here and now. When you are in the future, that moment, once you're there, will be the present. When you're in the past, that moment in that time was the present. So all you have is the present. There is no future, there's no past. Time is an illusion. All that there ever is and all that there ever will be is here and now. So the next one, I recently learned like last week. It was actually in the Real Housewives of New York. And Ramona Singer actually said this, and I was like, damn, Ramona, she's kind of wise. Like, she's a shit show, honestly. I love her so much, but she has some depth to her. So she said, everyone has different intensities at different parts of your life, which I totally understand and can relate to. I think as we flow through life, again, attaching to something like a person can create really negative things for us emotionally and internally. Kind of plays into part with everything is temporary, but every single person that's in your life will have an intensity in that specific part of your life, and it's okay if it fluctuates. So for example, when you're a kid, like your brother and your sister and your mom and your dad are very high intensity in your life, but as you get older, new people come and go into your life, and they're there for a specific reason, and I feel like they kind of leave our lives sometimes when we've gotten what we need from them, and they come into our lives when we need something from them. That was actually from the Real Housewives, believe it or not. So the 12th one is the more we learn, the less we know. I feel like when I was younger, I thought the more I knew, I was smarter than everyone else, and that I was getting like more knowledge, and I was like becoming a better person, and my knowledge tank was kind of getting full. But the more I realize, the more I read and understand and learn, the more I'm like, holy holy cow, I know nothing. And I have so much more to learn. So the 13th one is surrender to what is. This is what Eckhart Tolle again taught me in his book Stillness Speaks. I'll leave all the books that I mentioned down below, like some of the really most powerful books I've read. I'll leave them linked down below. He basically says, like in this book, said it in a vlog one time, but it was like, instead of saying he didn't call, like he doesn't love me, blah blah blah, you simply say he did not call. Like you kind of accept and surrender to what is at the moment, and instead of creating a good or bad experience and judging it and putting your perception on the experience, just letting it be and surrendering to it because you can't really control it, is something that's so powerful. It creates a stillness. Instead of placing judgment on the situation and creating and titling and labeling it as good or bad based on your life and your perception of it, it just simply is. Like, it happened, okay, what can I do to move forward? How am I going to react to this? Instead of putting your point of view on every single thing and situation and judging it and creating a good or bad experience. So the 14th one is letting go. Oprah actually wrote something in her book, and she said holding on to the past is like praying to change it, which you can't do. And when you sit there and just harbor in these emotions of the past, it's literally like praying to change it, but there's no way you can change it. You can only move forward. So I just thought that was really, really powerful when it comes to letting go of like things in your past. So the 15th one is happiness is a choice. I used to think happiness was the end result, but happiness is something that we can choose to be every single day. And again, it kind of correlates to perception. There's actually a cartoon that I came across years ago where there's two people in the bus and one person's looking out and looking at the sun and the other person's kind of just Debbie Downer looking at the negative part of the train, and it kind of shows that you choose your situation and your happiness in life. Once you start choosing happiness, the more like attracts like, and you will be able to attract more things that make you happy. So the 16th thing is that we all emit energy, like vibrational energy. There's two types of people in this world, people who drain energy and people who give energy. Which one do you want to become? You have to start taking responsibility for the energy that you bring into the space. I really do feel that everything has vibrational energy. It's not I feel, it literally, that's science. Every single thing has vibrational frequency. The vibrational frequency that you emit to the world based on things that you do, speak, and think all attracts and comes back to you. So the 17th thing is there is enough for everyone. This correlates to jealousy. So I wrote down other success does not mean your failure. Envy and jealousy of other success is something we were conditioned with. So when we were back in the olden days, when we were like hunters and gatherers, or even before that, when we like lived in nature, it's like if someone kills a certain thing or eats food, that means less for us. So our brains were conditioned to think that when someone gets something, that just means less for us. But in today's society, that is not the case. I feel like everything is like unlimited. That does not mean less for you. So when somebody has a boyfriend and they get married and they have kids, that does not mean we're not going to be able to have a husband and kids because they took it and we have less option of doing that. No. Instead, be happy for somebody who has the life that you want to live and appreciate it, because that's almost like the universe showing you that not only is it possible, but it's a sign that it's coming. So instead of looking at jealousy like someone has more of something than you have, try looking at it like more of a sign and the possibility of it, and not be jealous. We each have a unique path. Embrace and trust your divine timing and show love when they succeed. That's what I wrote. I'm so powerful. So the 18th one is the internal versus the external world. Some of the top researchers in positive psychology found that only 10% of our long-term levels of happiness are based upon our external world. 90% is how the brain processes the world we find ourselves in. It also says your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. Again, it's kind of all about perspective. And when you're not happy internally, nothing externally can bring you any joy. You know, things that money buy, or weight loss, or love. You have to be happy internally and be grateful in order to receive and be grateful for those things. If you're not grateful without those things, what makes you think you're going to be grateful with those things? There's no way you can be grateful unless you're happy and grateful internally first and foremost. So the 19th thing is what you give, you get. The energy you put out will always, always come back. If you want more love in your life, set an intention to be more loving. If you seek kindness, focus your energy on empathy and compassion. And that is a quote by Mrs. Oprah Winfrey. What you do to others, you do to yourself. So Rhonda Byrne actually said, with every negative thing we count, we cancel out blessings that were on their way. A quote by Shannon Kaiser is, worrying is like praying for what you don't want to happen. Basically, here's saying whatever you give out into the universe, internally, externally, words, actions, thoughts, you are going to receive in turn. And you just have to make sure that you are vibrating and emitting positive energy so that you can get the life that you want to be living. The number one thing here, I think, is gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful and can change your mood and your mindset and align you with the life that you want and create long-term happiness. So the 20th thing is my spirituality. So my spirituality, I've learned kind of to define as, I feel, again, this is an Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle, like, honestly gave me a lot of these lessons. He's so deep and wise. His books are life-changing. But my spirituality is kind of summed up into a conscious being having a human experience. So I think I am a spirit. I think I am a conscious being who is separate from my physical world and my physical body, but I am here on earth having a human experience. That kind of defines what I believe in. I do not believe in religion, really. To each their own, nothing against religion. I just think religion is something that, should I say this? People believe in certain stories that other people experience, but I think spirituality is more believing in your experiences and your path, and I just value that more than religion. I do think there is power in religion. There's very powerful lessons in religion. There's a lot to learn. And all the spiritual books that I've ever read, they've always related to religious texts such as, like, you know, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity. Like, there's so much to be learned from these religions, but at the same time, I'm more of a spiritual person than a religious person. And that's something that I've learned and kind of defined as my spiritual journey has progressed. So yeah, those are my 20 lessons. I hope one of them changed your life as they did mine. These are the most powerful, deep 20 lessons that I have ever came across. I just think they're so worthy of sharing. If you guys have any really powerful, life-changing, thought-provoking lessons, pop them down below. I would love to read through them and add to my list. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys all in a future video. Bye guys!